There we go. We're back. Internet went down for God knows what reason. Probably our provider doing maintenance in the middle of the night. Either that or they had to verify what we've all been doing, because not only am I uploading video, but my roommate is also chatting on Discord, so I know how sensitive these people are. I'm also eating pistachios. Chili style. You know the box. Wonderful, whatever. Got it from work. Excuse me. So, if you didn't catch the first part of the stream, I made the character. We got through the tutorial and a little bit of story stuff. Essentially saying, we've been condemned. And we need to go hunt mages. And then my dumbass decided to come here and die to a trap. Because somehow, I've played this game, not extensively, but enough to know this area. I still died to the trap that's just up the hill. Because I don't learn. I want to say that's the tripwire right in front of us. But just jump over that. Yeah. We've got our stuff back. Okay, you see that, right? Like right there. Right in front of us. That is most certainly a tripwire, right? Like, I can't even see it in the small, tiny little window. I'm sure you see it better than that. But yeah. So let's not step on that, because obviously it's right there. Can't see the tripwire, you can see the freaking trap. To this day, I still freaking hit that thing. I've had this game for like a week. Am I any good at this game? Not really. Like, see? Like, do I know the mechanics of it? Yeah. I played the first game. Why did I come up here? I should have known that. So this door is going to be locked till we come from the other side. So naturally, don't freaking do it. Gonna go careening off the cliff. There we go. But yeah, I was like, I should know. I can't go that way. But I mean, it's kind of like the title says. Like, I'm playing the sage reasonably blind. I've only done all of this once. And there's going to be a point where I have never done the thing I'm trying to do. I've only gotten to Balgaron, gone to the temple briefly. Very briefly. So if you know the game, you know exactly where I'm at. There's like a boss right in there when you enter it. And yeah, I haven't beaten it. So if you've played the game, you know exactly where I'm at. And if you haven't, rest assured, I'm not that far. I'm. I mean, it does 10 more damage, but I was kind of hoping it would do a little more. I'm kind of hoping, because I know this game considers both this sword and the staff part of this same weapon set. So I'm assuming, like, you know, the magic from it scales also with the damage of the sword when I upgrade it. So, you know, it's 10 more now. I'm assuming generally plus or minus scaling based on stats. That's going to remain pretty much the same. Like, you know, if I did 20 with the sword, the magic that I just cast on that other guy would do like 40-ish. Give or take, you know, scaling, you know, stats. Which is interesting. That's another thing I'm semi on the fence about. I don't know how I feel about the game combining a lot of build outs. Hello. I forgot you were here. I should have. I don't think resting would have been all that necessary. I beat this guy the first try of my last playthrough. Or my last character. My other character. Bleh. Playthrough. I haven't had a playthrough yet. Ooh. Oh, I'm alive. Okay. So... Oh, okay. So that's actually not that great. I'm so used to the crossbow from the Duelist, it fires a lot faster. This also kind of fires in a straight line, which is kind of nice. Well, I shouldn't have. Why do I keep rolling in front of him? He doesn't switch. Like, is that a remnant from the Sodden Knight or something that I keep trying to do that? Or it's like, he doesn't change his direction, why do I keep rolling in front of him when he's still swinging? Yeah, like that. I noticed that in my other character too, where I kept doing that. Okay, so I'm out of magic there. I can't tell if those home or if they just go in that burst. Seems like they home. That might be a good bet. Because, like, obviously I gotta play to this character's strengths. Right now the strength is range. I don't know what these 3 vials do. Is that... Okay, so it charges the magic on the secondary of the weapon I'm using. So I tried to get a little bit of insight before digging super deep into the game. Oh, you have fire bombs. Very safe than sorry. There we go. Whew. Sage isn't easy. Right, okay. So we're gonna get the grappling hook down here. It's a very cool mechanic. That's one thing I liked about Sanctuary that they seem to keep relatively well in this game is the traveling and platforming mechanics. Because, you know, like, otherwise it's just the same shit all the time. Whereas, you know, suddenly you add, you know, the Metroidvania mechanics, and then all of a sudden, like, there's reason go do this, do that, come back, do another thing in another area, get a new thing, then get to a new area. And, you know, it's a pleasing cycle. I'm glad that a game like this brings back. I think that's why, you know, games like this, like Hollow Knight, like Shovel Knight, are very popular. Is the progression is very evident, very visible to the player. Where it's like, huh, I can clearly go this way, but not yet. Like, you can see the reasoning of why you ought to be able to go that way. It's like, hey, there's a thingy there. I recognize the thing. And, you know, as a gamer, I understand you wouldn't have that thingy there without a reason. And there's that, like, that release of, hey, wow, okay, so, you know, this place started so small, and now, you know, I have this thing, and it becomes so big, such a big portion of this thing I'm trying to do. And, like, you see these new things, and you get more curious, like, wow. And, that's why I like these games a lot. Even, you know, going back to a three-dimensional point of view, like Dark Souls, stuff like that, you see these things that, man, I wish I could go see that. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, with these new things and, like, the new discoveries you've made, I can go see that. I can get up close and personal. And I think that's why Elden Ring hit such a note with so many people. Because, you know, From Software used to, their games used to be these things where it's like, I just haven't gotten strong enough or beaten the right thing yet to go see this thing. You know, this huge tower in the distance. Wow, that's so beautiful looking. I wonder what it's like inside. And then Elden Ring came out and kind of changed that dynamic of, like, well, I don't know yet because I'm not strong enough. I have to go kill this thing and this thing and this thing. And then all of a sudden there's a new thing in front of me. Wow, I just killed, you know, the gargoyles and Quelaag, and wow, now I can finally go to this weird Anor Londo place. You know, it was a progression thing, whereas in Elden Ring, it was partly progression, but also a little bit of skill, and knowledge. Hey there, you're an Inquisitor, aren't you? Mage Bane, right and all? Yeah. Listen, if you make your way up the cliffs just behind us, there's a tree at the very top, a talking tree. It told me that it wanted to speak to someone who had devoured the heart of a mage. Have you done that? Devoured the heart of a mage? No. Perhaps it's time that you began your journey then. In the gatehouse below us, there is a burnt corpse with a strange magical warp to it. If you could investigate the corpse, perhaps it could lead you to a pyromancer. No. Okay. Just want to make sure. But so yeah, when we suddenly got Elden Ring, and Elden Ring, it's like wow, From Software open world, interesting. Okay, and we've seen it before. Like I certainly can't deny, in the same vein of discovery and progression, we had seen it before. You know, the biggest example I can think of, Breath of the Wild. You have a big world in front of you. You can see a lot of stuff, and there is absolutely nothing stopping you from seeing exactly what you want to go see. Can you get completely wrecked and ganked by the things you want to go see? Absolutely. But here's the thing. Yeah, Morrowind was that way too. Um, they did it in a relatively smart way, also, like especially for the time, and to a degree, it lent itself to making the game better. There's something to be said with creativity out of necessity, because the tech just wasn't there for what they wanted to do, so they had to be creative. They filled a world with so many different things to keep people interested and keep the game getting bought and sold. Because back then, also the internet didn't have the information it had. We're talking 2002, 2003, and it was all about word of mouth. So back then, you had to be good. You had to be creative. You had to make something memorable. Otherwise, nobody would talk about you. Your games, stuff like that. For me, that's where it started, Morrowind. Where it's like, I could be wandering down the road. Lord knows where the hell I was going. I just knew I was going somewhere. And all of a sudden, I see this tower over the hill, like outside of Balmora. What the hell is that? It's a dwarven ruin. And it's like, hey, maybe this is the place that the Fighters Guild wanted me to go to find that like weird puzzle box Rubik's Cube thing they wanted me from a dwarven ruin. Like, okay, so let's check it out. It's I feel like modern games underestimate the power of wanderlust, of creating a world that's not necessarily believable, but interesting. A place where things are possible that in the real world you couldn't possibly imagine happening. And that's why I get disappointed in, games like, the latest Assassin's Creeds, where it's like, we understand the implications and lore behind these things. It's historical. It's nothing new. You know, all you have to do is open up a history book to know what they're talking about. And the rest is just people killing other people for political power, financial power, stuff like that. It's nothing we haven't heard before. But, you look at games and like media, like, this, Dark Souls, Morrowind, even Oblivion, and Skyrim, I can't deny its viability in the creativity realm. It's all part of the same universe, so I suppose Elder Scrolls, I should say. It's something we don't understand because it's from the realm of a person's mind, their own perspective, and their own creativity. We're not looking at some like Call of Duty fucking war where it's just guns and people being evil for the sake of being evil to sell a game. You look at Morrowind, and the lore. I mean, I could be live all night and not be able to do justice to the insanely creative and unique lore that lies within that game. The whole, the world is potentially just the dream of an overpowering god. And the second you realize that and fight against it, you become a god within the dream. Where it's like, or, you don't, and you suddenly realize I'm not real, and, and it's not even necessarily real lore, but like things people came up with or things outside of the canon. You don't see that a lot anymore. It's, like the whole, it's like, oh, I'm in a dream, but you know what? Fuck whoever's dreaming this. I am real. And no matter what I do, I'm going to remain real. And you become a god, a lucid dreamer in this character's dream that they're having. And the heavy implications of that. And then, like, on the opposite end, it's like, I'm in a dream, I'm not real. How could this possibly be? If I don't exist in some sort of reality, then what's the point? And you suddenly disappear. All history, everything you've ever done, disappears. You are simply erased, as if you were never known. And that's like what they think happened to the Deep Elves, the Dwarves, or, the Dwemer. And it's like, all that remains of them is texts and what they built. And to some degree, it makes some sense, a little sense, no sense. And nobody actually knows. Where, like, in the game of Morrowind, there is one Dwemer still left. And you can talk to him, and he doesn't know. He has theories. It's like they may have been displaced to a different part of time or space, or they may have simply stopped existing because he wasn't in that realm at the time. So who knows what happened? Like, you slowly learn over time what may have very well happened. And, like, the best storytelling is the story they don't tell. The one you tell yourself. The one that makes the community talk. The one that maybe keeps you up a little bit. Where it's like, what did happen? Like, I'm confused. I want to know. And you dig a little deeper. It's like, But there is never a definitive answer. those are the ones that stick with you. And that's where you get pages like Fudge Muppet and, stuff like that. Where it's like, God damn, I want to know what happened, but you never actually know. It's all theory. Like, what happened to the dwarves? Is the Godhead actually real? Because there's never ever any mention of it outside of, Morrowind and maybe a few hints, maybe, in Oblivion, but it's iffy. It's crazy. But anyways, that was Coulter's hour-and-a-half story time. I'm gonna kill this guy, get him out of the way. We'll do the hunt next time. Get that first mage. Get this guy out of the way. I'm also getting tired. So I've been drinking. But thank you, anybody who joined me on this adventure. I love you all. Leave comments, messages. I'll stream, hopefully very shortly. And I hope some of the things I mentioned kind of stick with you. What does it mean to play a video game? To think. Because there are some games sometimes, maybe I just want to kill a few things, kill a few people. Play a shooter, Call of Duty, Borderlands. And then you find a deeper meaning in places like Dark Souls, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe New Vegas. I really like New Vegas. Where it's like the story's not cut and dry. You gotta make the story yourself. The whole thing is not told to you. You figure it out over time. Sometimes there's not a right or wrong answer. It's all up for interpretation. That's the point. They want to make you think. And it's worth it. And that's what I think makes video games art. In the same way a book can make you think. And a movie. Because, not everybody sees it that way. But if you find the right story to listen to, tell to yourself, it is art. Because deep down, we find beauty in the eye of the beholder. Each one of us is a beholder of our own beauty. And sometimes that's a video game. Sometimes Dungeons and Dragons. Sometimes it's a movie. Maybe the Lord of War wasn't made with the best production value, but there is a story there. Or maybe a book. Recently, I've been going through Sanderson's stuff with my roommate. Also, I've read a lot of Sherlock Holmes, H.P. Lovecraft, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones a little bit. It's kind of hard to follow for me. I'm not much of an avid reader, so it's kind of a weird transition from books I'm used to. I'm not much of a reader in general. The Witcher. I mean, one of the best things The Witcher ever produced was, evil is evil, greater or lesser, it's still all bad. It's an interesting thing to think about, especially when the games came out. It's suddenly your choice. Make a few people think about it. What's beauty to you? What's the world supposed to look like according to you? What do you do to reflect that? Is that in a game? Is that in a book? Is it something you were taught? Stories you were told? you think you were raised the right way the first time, or did you have to learn it for yourself? A lot of these things, it's all played by ear. You learn as you go. Some people are just adaptable and just go with the flow. This is what they want me to do, I'll do it. Some people fight that. The world isn't what it's supposed to be, so I'm going to go against it. It's a hard road to take. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Who knows? I'm still trying to figure out what I want out of these streams. I think in the end, provoke thought. Relax. Have something to listen to. Have something to give feedback to. I hope all of this has seen you all very well. And if you watch me after I close the game, I appreciate it. As always, I love all of you. And I hope you get the best out of what you expect in life. Life's not easy. There's one piece of advice I want to leave you guys with before I go away. And it was something that I cherish to this very day. This was a long time ago, almost 12 years now, when I was still in my teens, about 16. And it's very important, especially some of you who are younger, to think about. It's like late teens, early 20s. That's the time to take advantage. Take what you can. This world will not give you anything for free. I'm in my late 20s right now, and I know this for a fact. Sometimes it'll take it away. I was forced out of a good job, good career, good prospects, just because my landlord wanted to sell my house instead of let me keep it. And thank God for the support system I had around me that I had built over the years that I lived there, over the years that I had lived in that town. Find people that are willing to ride and die with you. Those people are the only people that not only will help you out of a shitty situation, but will most likely be in the same shitty situation you are in. Hold those people. Don't let them go. Those people will save your life, and you will save theirs. It goes both ways. Love those people. Another person told me once, and I think this goes for those same people that will save your life in the worst situations, keep you from the darkest side of where life can go. It is 100% both ways. Whether it is romantic, a best friend, you do not meet them in the middle. You sprint at them to help them, because that is exactly what they ought to do for you. And wherever you meet, that is your solution. Never, ever slow down and expect them to pack it the rest of the way. Assume always that there is no plan and you are dragging them with you to hell. Because that is the only way that you and them, if they do the same thing for you, that you somehow avoid hell and make it to heaven, you find paradise. I I'm not a religious person, but that is the best analogy I can make. Those people will drag you out of the shittiest shit. Alright? And that is precisely why, in such a small stream, with no community, I love all of you. I've been going through some dark shit lately. I'm not financially bad off. I'm not, I have a great job, I have a great house, surrounded by great support. This is all emotional. This is a great hobby I have. And to any and all who join me, I just want to let you know that if there is anyone who wants me to do a game, just wants to talk, just wants to chat over Discord, I don't give a shit. This is small enough, I can pick you out individually and I can make time. And if you want to try to talk and help me out with some weird emotional stuff that I've been keeping deep down inside, that is fantastic. So, I love you all. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening.